Tonight at 6, emergency alerts are sent to 500,000 people in the southwest of England as Storm Goretti hits. This is the Scilly Isles off Cornwall. The Met Office has issued a rare red alert, meaning danger to life, with winds of up to 100 miles an hour expected. This was Briar in the Scillies this afternoon, and then the storm hit. One resident says power has now been lost.
I've seen, trees bending over, things flying past the window. I've been on the islands over a decade now, and this is by far the worst storm that I've experienced by a long way.
Up to a foot of snow is expected to fall on higher ground here in Wales, with the risk of an avalanche at its tallest peak at Wyddfa.
In Norfolk, the owners of some of these homes are told to leave tonight in case the storm causes the cliffs to collapse. Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. Storm Goretti has just hit southwest England. The Scilly Isles off the coast of Cornwall are being pummeled and people have lost power there. One resident has told us tonight that it is the worst storm he has seen in years and it is hitting them head-on. Too dangerous to go outside. A red warning for wind, meaning a danger to life, has been issued for the Isles of Scilly and much of Cornwall, with wind gusts of up to 100 miles an hour expected. An amber warning for snow has also been issued for Wales and the Midlands and parts of northern England as the storm progresses. But it is here in the southwest of England that the most serious warning has been issued. We have correspondence and reports from across the areas expected to be hit, including St Ives in Cornwall, where that red warning is in place, as well as Merthyr Tydfil and Codsall in South Staffordshire. First, though, let's go straight to Jenny Kumar, who is in Cornwall in St Ives. Jenny.
Well, conditions here today have been very difficult, very wet, very windy. The storm is beginning to build, but we are safe. We are in a sheltered position here. The concern is, as we see more wet weather, stronger winds and the high tides expected at around 9:50 this evening, that this storm could bring some real damage. Storm Goretti arrived this afternoon with Tresco on the Isles of Scilly getting a battering. Cornwall is also bracing itself for weather, the likes of which many have never seen before.
Just taking a precaution, really, because obviously these are just A-boards, so they could potentially get lifted by the wind, so we're just trying to prevent that from happening.
Well, this government text alert has come through, warning people of the coming storm. A red warning for wind, it says, has been issued to large parts of Cornwall. Extremely strong winds are expected to cause significant disruption from 8 p.m. tonight. So this alert has been sent to everyone in Cornwall, around 500,000 people.
Red weather warnings are issued very rarely for good reason. They're warranted because the conditions are so bad it is dangerous to be out and about, a risk of life, a risk of damage to property as well.
Earlier this afternoon, around 100 schools in the county closed, so staff and students could get home safely.
Safety is paramount. When you live so close to the coast, the weather can just flip in a second. So, yeah, we all received a message earlier today, and it's just, the obvious, get the kids in, get them safe, really.
I've got quite flexible working hours, but I can imagine it's more difficult if you work for workplaces that don't have that kind of flexibility.
At the leisure centre next door to the school, the manager also decides to close early.
We are obviously going to be closing now as of 3 o'clock.
Staff are told to head home.
We've just brought anything in from outside just to obviously protect anything that could fly away or be picked up with the winds. We've made sure all bins and everything is secure, the building is as secure as possible, and then it's just very much making sure we communicate with all of our customers as to what may happen overnight as the storm kind of carries on.
But for those reliant on public transport, it's a rush to get home before the services are suspended.
I've been told to work a little bit earlier because of the storm forecast, so I'm getting the bus home.
And it's the last bus home, so you're...
Apparently it's the last bus home, otherwise I'd have had a long walk.
The county waits to see how much damage this storm will bring. Jenny Kumar, BBC News, St Ives.
Well, the Midlands is next in the eye of Storm Goretti with an amber warning for snow in place. As much as 30 centimetres of snow is expected on higher ground tonight. Phil Mackey is in South Staffordshire for us now. Phil.
Yeah, Sophie, so the rain for the last couple of hours has just started turning to snow as was expected. A lot of people left work early today to get home before the snow arrived, and we've already heard lots of schools saying they will close tomorrow, though many more are waiting to see what it looks like in the morning. So it's been a case of trying to wait out what might happen later, and we've been around some of those parts of the amber warning area to see people getting ready. So far there's been very little of the white stuff, but a lot of the wet stuff. The amber warning though doesn't start until 8 p.m, so today's been about preparing for what might come. The rush hour's been quite early today if people have tried to get home before this turns to snow, but some people aren't even sure it's going to be that bad.
We're just going to wait and see, yes.
And if it is bad, do you cancel stuff tomorrow or just get on with it?
It depends how bad it is. Depends how bad. I mean, it's Friday, isn't it? So it's always nice to find an excuse to stay at home on a Friday.
If I need anything food-wise, I can just walk. I can just walk and get it. I've got all the amenities that I need, so I haven't done anything in particular.
But you're going to hunker down?
Yes, I'm going to hibernate and I can stay in. I'm not at work tomorrow, then it's the weekend. So, yeah, I can just see it out.
Across the Midlands, gritters have been getting ready and extra beds made available for those sleeping rough.
If we've used our 12 camp beds, we can phone the emergency duty team that work for housing for Coventry City Council, and they will allocate them a space elsewhere in the city.
It might look like this in the morning. This was Aberdeenshire today, where it's been like this for a week, so they may be wondering why there's so much fuss in England. Snow days here are rarer, and Jeff's part of a team of volunteers who take their four-wheel drives out to help NHS staff get to work.
Making sure staff can get in for their shifts, making sure staff can get home again, back safe to their families.
And how busy do you anticipate being?
It'll be extremely busy tonight. If this snow hits, we'll be called out all over the West Midlands, from Stoke-on-Trent all the way down to Stratford.
Not everyone hates the snow. This polar bear's enjoyed the little there's been this week already, but so far across the amber warning area it's been drab and wet. But if the forecast is right, many people will be waking up to a blanket of snow, and on higher ground it could be a foot deep. Phil Mackey, BBC News, Staffordshire.
Let's go to Hal Griffith, who's in Merthyr Tydfil. And when is this storm expected to hit there?
Well, Gerretti's grip is already tightening. We've seen cold, heavy rain turn to snow over the last few hours. It's accumulating here in Merthyr Tydfil, more on higher ground. And we've even had a warning up in North Wales at Yr Wyddfa, or Snowdon's known to some, a rare avalanche warning. They've had snow earlier in the week. There's unstable ground there, and so the mountain rescue teams have warned people, mountaineers, not to venture up there tomorrow if there's lots of fresh snow, in case that becomes unstable. Now, although the official weather warning doesn't kick in till 8 p.m. already, we've had cancellations on the rails, the trains between Cardiff and Bridgend. Also cancellations, we understand, happening in North Wales along the lines there, and people across Wales, where there is snow, where there is ice, and where they're under this amber warning, have been told not to travel. The ambulance service has warned people to stock up on medication, to check in on vulnerable neighbours, and again, not to make unnecessary journeys. That snow is expected to fall mostly overnight. Some schools, about a dozen or so, have cancelled already, but I think lots of people will be waking up and needing to check their travel arrangements, their school arrangements, just how safe it is to venture out of their homes.
In Norfolk, the owners of 14 clifftop houses on the north coast have been told that they should leave their homes immediately in case the cliffs collapse because of the storm. The coastline at Hemsby has already been eroded in the last weeks because of the bad weather. Now some of the residents have spent the day packing up, as BBC Look East's Robbie West reports.
Homes on the edge. Last night's storm making properties like Glenda's too dangerous to stay in overnight.
Should have never slept last night. I'm sorry, never slept last night. I mean, we moved from Derby 14 years ago, and this was going to be our final destination, and now we don't know where we're going to be next week.
Last night, due to the poor weather conditions, 8 to 10 metres of this cliff was lost to the sea. With bad weather forecast for this evening, the council have warned people that their homes could be in danger.
So we are standing on one of the fastest eroding coastlines in Northern Europe. We need residents to understand the risks that is posed to them. In our view, those people that we have spoken to, we recommend that they're not staying in the properties this evening.
This morning, members of the local community were out helping people pack up their belongings.
I've got a spare van, so I just took a couple of days off work to come down, help out where I can, really.
Taking the last few boxes out, some people have nowhere to go.
It's daunting. It's daunting and it's sad. And because it's all going away, and then it is what's next, I don't really know.
As people pack up their homes, some are questioning whether they will return tomorrow to find them still there after the storm. Robbie West, BBC News in Hemsby.
As Storm Goretti hits the UK, the Met Office says the weather bomb could cause gusts of up to 100 miles per hour, along with heavy snow with blizzard-like conditions. It's likely to damage buildings and homes, cause power cuts and public transport cancellations. 2 emergency alerts have been sent to 500,000 people in the worst affected areas. And Storm Goretti's impact will be felt across much of Britain and the Channel Islands. The Midlands is preparing for its worst snowfall in a decade, with fears of up to 30 centimetres could fall in just a few hours. Almost the whole of Wales is under amber or yellow warnings for heavy rain or snow. In a moment, we'll bring you the latest from some of the affected areas. But first, here's our correspondent, Stacey Foster.
Storm Goretti has arrived in South Wales, bringing snow and strong winds to the valleys. The amber warning for snow doesn't officially come into force here until 8 o'clock tonight, but already conditions are tricky. As the first named storm of the year gusted into Cornwall, the Met Office upgraded its warnings to red.
4 to 6, increasing severe gale 9.
They say there is now a danger to life in the southwest of England. Over the coming hours, winds are expected to exceed 100 miles per hour.
We have been advised that it could turn into hurricane force 12 winds, which actually the Met Office has told us that it could be the worst winds that have been seen since 1990.
These properties on the very edge of the Norfolk coast have been evacuated. They're taking whatever they can because the fear is they won't have homes to return to.
I think we're just running on adrenaline, really. Have been a bit upset yesterday, didn't particularly sleep last night.
I didn't sleep well, no.
Things going round in my head.
In the Midlands, there are concerns people could die on the streets if the worst of the snow hits here. Outreach workers in Wolverhampton have been desperately trying to get people into temporary accommodation. But Martin, who's homeless, won't leave his dog called Storm, so he'll be sleeping here tonight.
What are you going to do tonight? There could be 10 centimetres of snow. Is there really no way you can go?
No, I'm going nowhere without her. You know, she's like my baby, so I'm going nowhere without her.
Hello there, sir. Nice to meet you again.
Doctors at one hospital in the Midlands say they're already seeing more patients suffering with frostbite, like Dutch, who's been sleeping rough in Birmingham and now faces life-changing surgery.
99% sure I'm going to take the feet off. After that, I have no idea. It's very worrying, but yeah.
There is already widespread disruption, with many rail lines shut because of the forecast. The advice to passengers is do not travel.
We will reduce the train service, and that just means that if we do get any problems on the network, there are a few trains in queues waiting to get through, and we can prioritise the safety of our passengers and the safety of railway staff.
Back in Wales, there are warnings of an avalanche on Mount Snowdon, where the paths have completely disappeared. That snow that's already started to fall in Wales is now moving eastwards, heading for the Midlands. Stacey Foster, ITV News.
We can get the latest picture now from our reporters in the UK and the Channel Islands. Sangeeta Lal is in St Ives in Cornwall. Rhys Williams is in Brecon in mid-Wales. Alex Spicely is in St Helier in Jersey. And Jonathan Brown is in Hellisage, which is in the Peak District. Well, let's go to you first, Sangeeta.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, well, I mean, the winds have just picked up in the last few minutes here. They're forecast to reach 40 miles an hour. It feels a lot stronger than that already. I'm having to hold on to stand up in it. The rain is lashing in your face and the temperature has that's dropped here. Now, the Met Office has warned that these strong winds are due to suddenly jump in the next hour or so, and the concern is that those strong winds will hit high tide, and that can lead to coastal flooding. Now, the waves are expected to reach about 6 metres high across the channel, and the National Grid says it is anticipating power lines to be affected. If yours are, the number to call is 105.
Well, that heavy rain we've been experiencing all day here in Wales has finally turned to snow within the last hour or so here in mid Wales, and particularly in higher ground in the South Wales valleys. We've already seen pictures from the tops of those valleys showing significant snowfall this evening. It's already causing lots of disruption on the roads, particularly around Merthyr Tydfil, where there have already been reports of crashes. There's a yellow weather warning in place for wind and for rain in Wales too on the South Wales coast, but the authorities are more concerned about the snow. There's an amber warning in place, and that covers the vast majority of inland Wales, from the valleys, Carmarthenshire, up north through Powys, where we are here, to Wrexham and Gwynedd in the north. And there are reports, there are warnings of potential avalanches in the Erosion mountain range due to lots of new, fresh snow. Now, of course, most of the snow isn't expected until after 8 p.m, which is when that amber weather warning comes into place. We're expecting up to 30 centimetres on higher ground, but we, of course, are unlikely to see the impact of that until the morning.
Well, as you can see, the winds really are picking up here in the Channel Islands, but in the next half hour, we're expecting gusts of 90 to 100 miles per hour. There is a red wind warning in place, which means there is a real risk to life. And because of that, the advice from our local governments here is to stay at home and to stay safe. It's also to avoid coastal areas, because the problem tonight is the high point of the storm coincides with high tide, and we may well see 15-foot high waves. Jersey, Guernsey and Alderney Airport have been closed, and the ferries have also been cancelled. The concern for people here will be that just a few years ago we were battered by Storm Ciarán and a tornado with 186 mile per hour winds. The message from Jersey Met Department today is not to expect that again this evening. However, they can't rule that out. So the message here tonight in the Channel Islands is clear, and it's serious. Stay home and stay safe.
Well, we've got snow here now, but the worst is certainly yet to come. That's because forecasters here say that parts of the Peak District could see up to 30 centimetres of snow over the coming hours. Now, I'm in Hathersage at the moment. It's a quaint village, popular with hikers, but also popular with commuters because it's on the busy Manchester to Sheffield rail route. But Transpennine Express says that that route will be closed from now until Saturday morning at the earliest. On top of that, about half a dozen high-altitude roads through the peaks are being closed by local council traffic officers as we speak. They've also warned that the sheer volume of snow might be heavy enough to bring down some trees. That's prompted some fears that communities perhaps like this could be cut off, so warm spaces and warm hubs are being opened up in village halls across this area locally over the coming hours into tomorrow for vulnerable people. Now, the Met Office says that the Peak District is about as far north as the heaviest of the snowfall is likely to reach, but there are lesser snow warnings in the north of England, across the north of England and up into Scotland. So this storm will be hard to avoid.
Thanks very much to all our teams across the UK. And I know that Sangeeta, who is in St Ives in Cornwall, was in a very windy situation. So do please remember the warnings to stay home and to stay safe. But let's take a look now at some of the disruption already caused by the storm. Rail services across Cornwall are suspended entirely with no rail replacements due to dangerous conditions on the roads. In Devon, trains are suspended between Exeter and Oakhampton and Exeter and Barnstaple, with disruption expected to last until tomorrow morning. East Midlands Railway will start to close down services on branch lines in the east of the region from 8 tonight. Trains will run again as soon as possible, Network Rail said, but that is not expected to be before 10 a.m. on Friday. And Transpennine Express have suspended the route between Manchester and Sheffield via Stockport until Saturday morning. Well, there's a lot going on today weather-wise. So Alex is here to take a look at those weather warnings and talk more about what we can expect. A lot of alerts, Alex. So what's likely to unfold?
Well, you can see how it's unfolding at the moment. The winds are absolutely damaging. We've already had gusts of wind up to 98 miles per hour. That was on the Isles of Scilly an hour or so ago, and we could well see them getting a fair bit stronger. But Storm Goretti is going to go through explosive cyclogenesis, a very deepening low, so it is going to be quite unpredictable. You can see how this snow is going to be developing. This is a situation at 8 o'clock this evening across parts of the West Midlands, Wales, where we've already seen quite a few centimetres, and this amber warning does kick in at 8 p.m. this evening, and with it as well, heavy rain that could also cause some localised impacts, especially out towards the east. Let's take a look at the warnings then. We do have that danger to life rare red warning for wind across the West Country. That is where Sangeeta is at the moment. Gusts here could reach up to 100 miles per hour. As we were just talking about with the amber warning, we could see accumulations up to 30 centimetres up over high ground. We can't even rule out some pretty high accumulations at lower levels as well. And even in the yellow warning, you can see we could get around maybe 5 to 10 centimetres. So it is going to be very disruptive as we head through the next few hours. Really, the main advice, Charlene, is to stay home. Don't make that journey, especially if it can wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow morning, I suspect there will be lots more disruption. It will become clear then.
OK, Alex, thanks very much, and we'll see you later on.